McGowan's, they're going for 30 years now. I'm with them for 6 years. The owner is Mal McGowan, and we do everything from outdoor posters to business cards, floor units, all sorts of printed substrate wallpapers, as you can see behind us. We've got this new machine in that does Skodex, and we've got a Landa. We've done all sorts of prints, booklets, brochures. Then across the road in our other factory, we've got the Nozomi, which is a large format print machine, which will print a couple of thousand an hour. Everything, anything you can think of that prints, we do it. When we send the foil through Switch, it goes to every one of the machines at once. And in turn, it goes the same if it has a cutting form on it. Goes to every one of the cutting tables as well. So from an SRA3 sheet up to a 1040, 1550, 1550, 2100 sheet, the print goes to every machine, which gives us the option to print on every machine. It goes through Switch, all automatically. There's no dropping it in hot folders or anything like that. When you send it to one flatbed, it goes to them all, and that's all done through Switch. And similar enough to the key lines, if you do the same thing, you'll get a cutting form at all of our digital cutting presses. So all done through Switch automatically from one foil dropped on, you get all that service from it, all through Switch. Currently we could be running anything from 200 to 250 jobs a day, up to 300 jobs a day through Switch to service all of them machines. We've sort of got a master workflow that does everything we want it to do, right? As regarding processing foils from pre-press to the machines. Then we've got a utilities folder that could have 50 workflows in it. And that could be down from resizing A foils to putting trim marks on foils. There's a huge amount, deleting spot colors, retaining spot colors, changing foils from RGB to CMYK. There's tons and tons there. And then we've got all our ones that are taken from our storefronts. So we've got a particular storefront that would have maybe 60 flows within it. So we could have 300 flows. But we do have a master one that looks after 90% of our day-to-day processing foils. And the other ones are just really add-ons for doing specific tasks, if you like. You know, so if you want to do something and you know it's individual to that, we can drop it onto Switch. It'll do everything within that flow what you've asked it to do, and then drop it into another hot folder for you to take it back out rather than processing it through the plant, you know, that sort of way. So, but within our master workflow, we could have maybe 25 to 30 different elements within that Switch is doing a different thing in each of them elements, you know, that sort of way. So there's imposition, there's a Phoenix automated imposition in one of them, there's a GMG color management system in another one, so there's pre-flighting in another one, there's all sorts of different ones that within that stage. And like I said earlier, color managing machines is different and difficult. Each machine prints differently and wants to receive the foil color managed differently. So we can drop a machine for one of our flatbeds at 1312 and it'll go into our GMG flow that we have within Switch, and it will send that foil to 5 different color profile configurators within Switch. Them 5 foils have been color managed differently within this one flow. You've sent in one foil, it's sent in 5 profile differently and sent them to the different machines. So that's huge. If you didn't have that, you'd have to process that job to each machine 5 different times. When you drop a job on Switch, we automatically move on to the next one. We don't track it because we have an alerts panel within our Switch that whatever we've asked Switch to do that, it's going to take, this is mad, but it's going to take say 5 minutes to do it, let's just say, or probably less. But within that 5 minutes, whereas years ago, you might have waited for the process to finish, we don't, we grab another job. You start the other job and you return back to Switch to see where that's at. So you could be, within that 5 minutes, we could have processed another 4 jobs through that. And then it comes back to the checkpoint, what you wanted to come back to. But realistically, if we wanted to get a job through Switch, it could be through our whole process in less than a minute. So that's as fast as it could do it. Anytime you come against a problem, we know we can get a solution through Switch. and we can just build it to what we want it to do, implement it, and then that's that job done, taken care of. But I know before I worked in a company, we hadn't got Switch. It took a long time if you came up against a file with a problem, identifying it in the first place and then dealing with it. If you had to do that a good few times a day, it created a bottleneck, whereas Switch just looks after that without you even knowing. Just by dropping the file on it, you've already built it in to pre-fly for these situations. It looks after it and deals with it. So I haven't got a time on it, but I know it'll take a hell of a lot of time to pre-flight the amount of files that we put through on a daily basis. And to be fair, without Media Inc. and Dave's help, I would have been lost, and he's been a huge help to me. And as a result, Dave likes to teach you how to use Switch rather than just do it for you and then say it's done. Do you know this sort of way? So, no, he's been, and we are good pals anyway, but I would say opposite if it wasn't the truth. Do you know this sort of way? But he's been a huge help for me and McGowan's as a company moving forward. And the way I treat Dave is anytime we come up against a problem and I know there's a solution within Switch to solve it, I just have to call him and we get together, come up with the solution, do it within Switch, and then rather than using Switch as a tool to cut staff and streamline the process, we've used Switch to grow the company. And because we can streamline it and get more jobs through the company faster, as a result, we've been able to take on extra clients, extra workload, and build the company bigger and bigger every year because we have Switch.